Salut à toutes et à tous et bienvenue une fois de plus dans l'édition spéciale On-Set portée sur la 4e journée du festival du film de Sundance ici même à Park City où tout le monde attendait ce fameux film Kiss of the Spider-Woman qui faisait sa grande première le dimanche 26 janvier au cinéma Eclec ici même à Park City. C'est un film réalisé par Bill Condon. Oui, avec en affiche la star hollywoodienne qu'on ne présente plus, Jennifer Lopez. Voici donc les meilleurs moments du tapis rouge en compagnie de l'équipe de presse dont nous sommes très heureux parce que on en faisait partie de la presse qui a interviewé Jennifer Lopez sur le red carpet de Kiss of the Spider-Woman. Et juste après la diffusion du film, l'équipe du film, le réalisateur, l'actrice et l'acteur principal étaient juste devant nous pour les questions-réponses. Tout cela sous l'œil de la caméra de On-Set.
Beautiful. Fabulous. Right there. Right in the middle. Here it is. Spider-Woman. Yes. Both of you, everybody lives.
Everybody's beautiful. I mean, it feels incredible. This was a real labor of love. Obviously, it was an indie film. That's why we're here. And, you know, there was nobody who was on this film who wasn't doing it for the pure love of it. And so we're very excited right now, you know, that this is where we got to do it.
Yeah. And
It's such a legendary film festival. It's amazing.
Yeah.
We're very happy. Yeah, it's funny, you know, when I was little, my mom introduced me to musicals when I was like 4 or 5 years old. I fell in love with them. I watched them all through our childhood into when I was a teenager, and I really thought that I would be doing Broadway. And you know, life takes its turns. I was singing, I was dancing, I get out there, I start working, and my life took this other turn, and I love it. I got to do films and make albums, but I've been waiting for a role like this my whole life, to be able to do a real kind of Hollywood musical. And even though this is a much even more interesting type of movie than that, just a plain musical, it's something new and kind of creative in a different way. I'm very, very, very happy because it's really a dream come true for me. Oh my God. I adore Bill. He gave me something that, like I said, I had waited for my whole life. A role like this. I read it. I never had felt that. And I called him right away and I was like, yes! You know, he had sent me the script and he's just a master at this. And to get to work with him was a dream.
It's a little surreal, I'm not going to lie. I'm a huge fan of Sundance. I try to come whenever possible, and to have our film premiere here has been a wild ride. Usually it's very relaxed for me, but this year it's like, boom, getting to meet so many other wonderful artists. It's 2 different films at the exact same time. So the first one, the musical portion, is an ode to all musical theater lovers. From Singing in the Rain to Funny Girl, it is just an homage to all of that. And we shot it in a way that was reminiscent of the time. So for the more 1940s style, we didn't use lavalier mics, we used boom mics, and it was all proscenium style shooting. So it's very, very, the form and the content match. The other half of it is a 1981 Argentinian dictatorship, and it's like 2 people, it's a queer story of 2 people falling in love. And so how is that not indie and Sundance? It's like, it's for cinephiles, really.
Yeah. Sundance.
Oh, it's amazing. You know, I came here 27 years ago. I was at this thing the other night, and all these filmmakers were talking about the Sundance Institute, and they said, Sundance changed my life. And that is entirely true for me. So to come full circle, back with a movie that I was actually thinking about back then, that I've kind of wanted to make my whole life. It just feels magical, you know. And the thing that really you're so struck by is just the sense of love, you know, and support that is everywhere that you go here. It's fantastic.
Hey, how are you? Hello.
Good, how are you?
I'm Austin.
Hey, Austin.
Jennifer Lopez, there is something topical about this movie, but also there's something that feels very timeless about this movie. How do you think about it?
I think about it as both. I think, because of the aspect of kind of doing that 50s musical, which was so important to build, to do authentically in a way, like with those long shots and doing the dance numbers from top to bottom without cutting sometimes. How many more times? Yeah. Actually, no, I would be like, can I do it one more time? But that part of it is a fantasy, it's the escapism, and I think the thing about the movie that I love the most is that it tells of the importance of storytelling and how it can help you get through the day and how it helps all of us. Films help all of us kind of get through the hardest times in our lives, just like music. That's why movies are so important, and the importance of love. The importance of love and just seeing each other as human beings and how love can kind of, shorten the gap of any divide between people. If we could just look at each other, like you're saying, as individuals, as people, as human beings, and not worry about who you like, who you don't like, what your political beliefs are. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There's another human on the other side of you, and you will find something in common with them. And it's that you are both human and you both have a heart. And that to me is something that was so important when I read the movie and why I wanted to be part of it.
I knew this person spiritually. I understood someone who felt like a loser in love life. And who found to be the hero of their own story by falling in love. And one spirit got to show the entire spectrum, from feminine to masculine and everything in between. And I think what I took away from it was, no one can tell you who you are, you get to decide that. Gender is simply a construct, and it is something that we play with and have fun with and get to explore. And in a time that people tell us that things are inherently binary, in a time where violence out of that binary exists, I hope that people find solace and know that they are not alone.
Bill, before we wrap up, I'm going to switch gears just for a moment to talk about the spectacle that we see on the screen, that we just watched on the screen tonight. You're working at the height of your powers as a filmmaker in weaving together all these approaches that nod to classic musical cinema and pull us forward into contemporary conversation. I would love to hear a little bit, and I don't know which direction we want to go. We can talk about music, we can talk about costume, we can talk about choreography, but I would love to hear a little bit about some of the, as you were conceiving of how this movie would look, feel, sound, share a little bit about
This is a great opportunity for me to talk about all of those things. Editing, right? You know, the fact that these two movies have to exist in the same place. And sorry. These two very different movies have to connect to each other. And the rhythm that Brian found in making that happen was just extraordinary. Costumes.
Oh my goodness.
The thing about Colleen is that it's always the idea of that Hollywood movie, but with a twist. There's something that just elevates it, you know. And I do love her note to me when she left was, I do love working with Eva.
Go for clothes.
Tobias Schleister, our all of the ways Tobias did, my God, that, you know, constructing, creating that world of the prison and contrasting it, you know, visually with the movie world. It looks easy, but Tobias went through 100 variations of everything. To really, again, what I love is to capture the spirit of those old movies, but not to just imitate them. You know, it's its own thing, and that's part of what he created. Choreography, Sergio Trujillo and Brandon Bieber, who's here. That was just, oh my God, the
Shout out to Dropbox. We represent
Yeah, my God.
Dropbox. But you have the clips that we use and tune back to each other of all of these classic musicals. Again, looking at them as reference and then creating something that crystallizes it and hopefully I could go on and on, but thank you for letting me talk about some of those people. Bill Condon, Tonatio, Jennifer Lopez, thank you very much for being with us at Sundance tonight.
Hi, my name is Aline Mayagoitia. I play Paulina Paz in Kiss of the Spider Woman.
So how was the movie?
It was magical, you know. It's an old school MGM movie musical wrapped in this war movie, this prison movie, this queer love story, and I am so fascinated with how Bill wove those two films together. I think they add so much emotional nuance to each other. And I think it's just a feast for the eyes. I think you're going to love it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
How was the movie? So how was the movie?
I love the movie. I was a cinematographer on it, and I'm very happy and I'm very proud of all our work.
C'est tout pour ce autre numéro spécial On-Set porté sur le Festival du film de Sundance. Nous rappelons que le Festival du film de Sundance fera son clap de fin le dimanche 2 février et l'équipe d'On-Set, voilà, vous fera vivre les lauréats de cette autre édition 2025 dans toutes les catégories. Et pour rappel, on a 6 films africains qui sont représentés ici au Festival du film de Sundance. Donc, dans nos prochains numéros, nous allons faire un zoom sur ces 6 films africains présents ici en compétition au film de Sundance. D'ici là, restez toujours positifs, croyez en vous.